Hello and welcome to Cornwall. This is Andy's Cornish Creations. In this video I'm going to be doing a bumblebee out of some scraps of wood. Don't turn off now. I know about a third of my viewers turn off now, but stick around. It's only a 20-minute long video. Sit back, have a cuppa and watch this being made. I've cut some segments on the chop saw and just gluing them together. Put rubber bands around it to hold it together. Doesn't need any more than that. And the wood I'm using is some tulip wood for the lighter colour and some oak for the for what's going to be the dark colour, the black. You'll see how I managed to achieve that later on. And the tulip wood's the lightest bit of wood that I'd got to hand, and it worked perfectly well. Here I'm taking some of the little segment rings and gluing them together, and these are going to make the body of the bumblebee. So there I've got them mounted up. I've put a couple of extra little pieces of oak on the ends so that so I have something to put my headstock centre and tailstock up against, because the holes in the middle would have thrown it all out of balance in the segmented rings. So I've got an idea. I've already done a sort of a mock-up of the finished item in a piece of scrap wood. So I've got something to take my dimensions off. I'm not going to show it you yet, because otherwise it would spoil the surprise. But I do find it handy to have something to work to and sort of iron out all the little problems that crop up. So I'm turning the shape of the body, and I've got the length that I require, and just getting a nice shape to it. This is the whole video is in 5x speed. I managed to get it down to a 20-minute video from an hour and 40 minutes of footage. So I think the most loyal of my viewers may have trouble sticking around for an hour and 40 minutes. Here I've been using the spindle gouge. Now I'm using the 1-inch skew chisel just to take out all those little peaks and troughs. If you're not subscribed to my channel, take the opportunity to press the subscribe button and the little notification bell that allows you to see when all my new videos are uploaded. Here, sanded up to 400 grit, and put a couple of little indents, and I'm burning 2 lines so that I've got a good sort of demarcation between the lighter wood and the oak, so that when I apply the finishers they're not going to sort of blend into each other, hopefully. Now this is the sort of magic, because this is an ebonizing technique using tannin from the pot on the left. There has had a tea bag in it overnight and released its tannin, and the pot on the right has had some wire wool and white vinegar, and it is amazing how it turns the oak black, and that's nothing else applied. That's just the oak turning black with the tannin. Here I'm applying some spray, acrylic lacquer. The yellow is it's going through a bit quick, this. I'm trying to keep up. The yellow is some is some stain, yellow stain that I've applied. So I've applied the lacquer, sanded it, just a light sand, and then just to take off any little high points, and then another little application of lacquer, and then a very fine sand, and then abrasive paste to polish up the lacquer, and it does come up. It comes up to a really nice shine, and I'm still amazed by just how black that oak has turned with the ebonizing solution. So now I'm just applying a bit of I think it's woodwork wax 22 to give it a little shine and to give it some protect the surface. So that was the front end of the body done. This is the back end, the slightly larger piece, or abdomen should I say. And that's my big spindle roughing gouge, just to get it to round. I jumped a little bit there for some reason, and I think I finished up a little bit short, and I needed that extra piece on. It's actually a while ago from editing this that I made it, so I'm just trying to remember the exact process that I was doing. But so I just finished off turning there with the spindle gouge, and now back with the skew chisel just to take out those little sort of peaks and troughs and get a nice smooth sort of oval shape. Again, put some little grooves in there and burn it with a piece of piano wire, little pieces of wood on the end, so I'm not holding on to the actual wire, because that can be quite dangerous. Give it a sand up again to about 400, and then I didn't show the application of the tanning this time, because you've seen it already, and here is the yellow stain that I use. Again, acrylic lacquer, bit of a sand, just clean it off. I must have applied 2 coats of acrylic there somewhere along the line. Back to the abrasive paste, which gives it a nice shine. Try and get it out of the grooves. And there, the wood wax 22, or any sort of beeswax would be good, or carnauba wax, gives it a nice hard finish. And that's the other part of the abdomen done. This is a piece of oak that will become the head. So it's a very simple shape, just a little dome shape. Again, spindle gouge, that's a 3/8 inch spindle gouge. I think it's about 10 mil. Again, the skew chisel, just this is a way I like to do it, and it does work. It saves a lot of work when you come to sanding. You're not trying to sand out those little high points and grooves. So that'll be sanded up to 400. The tannin and then the vinegar with the wire wooling is applied, and it gradually turns black. While that's drying, we're a bit wobbly here, and this will be the stinger in the tail of the bee. A very simplified version of it. And this one's a slightly finer spindle gouge. It's about the same width as the other, about 3/8, about 10mm, but I've ground a much finer point on it, just for the sort of detailed work. It allows me to get into little nooks and crannies a bit easier. Again, the other one was sanded and treated in the same way as the head. Whoop! That popped off, and there it is. Here, I've got the belt sander, and I'm creating some little flats on the body, so that I can fix them together. So this is where the head goes onto the upper part of the abdomen, and then we've got to put the two parts of the body together, and then there'll be a little flat for the stinger right at the back. There you can just see the sort of model that I made at the bottom right there to show me what I'm doing. It does help an awful lot when you're designing something, and I just did it out of a piece of pine, and it's better than making all your mistakes on nice wood that you've got the trouble of making segments for and everything else. This is a piece of ash, and this is going to be the base, because the idea is that it's sort of hovering, and it's going to be sat on a rod. Just getting the top of it flat. Doesn't have to be too precise. Again, sanding it down to 400. And with this one I'll just apply some abrasive paste and then some wax. But ash, it's quite easy to finish. It's a hard wood, and it takes a nice finish and shine. There, I've got the heat gun. I'm just heating up the hot glue that I used to stick it on with, and it does help to remove it. Now I'm drilling the holes for the legs. Oh no, sorry. This is the hole for the stand, for the rod that's gonna hold the bumblebee up mid-flight, so to speak. So this is starting the legs. The legs are made out of two parts, and they're going to be joined together. One end's going to be dowelled into the body, and to join the two pieces of leg together, I'm going to use a little piece of copper wire, just electrical copper wire, to join the two pieces together, so that I can adjust them to the angles that I want to achieve. Really simple shape, just rounded at the ends, and then give it a little sand up to 400 as usual, and part it off. There I'm using the little spanner trick to get them all exactly the same diameter. This one is going to be going into the body, so I'm using a smaller spanner to make I think there's a 5mm diameter dowel, and so that when I drill a 5mm hole into the body, I know it's going to fit exactly. It's so much easier than getting the calipers out and measuring it every single time. This is the end of the legs, sort of a simplified foot on the end there. So here I'm just putting a little punch mark into the legs, and drill a hole just big enough for the piece of wire. Pop the wire in, and then cut it down and fit the other end into the other leg. And that it just allows me to adjust the angle of the legs. Here I'm drilling the holes in the upper part of the abdomen for the legs to fit into. Again, I know where these holes are going because of the model that I made previously, and just irons out all those little problems that you might have in positioning and things. These are the wings of the bee. So there's two pieces of I think this is tulip wood as well. So the two pieces about 5mm thick, and put them together to cut out the shape on the bandsaw. So I cut them both out at the same time, and they're both exactly the same. Here I'm just refining the shape a little bit and smoothing them down on the disc sander. There you see the legs. I've painted these black just to save a bit of time, and just popping the legs into the hole. These are the holes for the wings. And here I'm using some carbon paper. I've done a little design for the wings, and the carbon paper just transfers the design onto the actual wood. And here I'm using a pyrograph tool to burn the design onto the wings. And then glue them into place. Nice and simple, but quite effective. A couple of drill holes for the eyes, and these are just a couple of plastic sort of toy bead eyes that look quite good. And there's the finished result. So if you've made it this far, very well done, and thanks for watching. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and all those good things. And this is Andy's Cornish Creations, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.